One of the books I truly enjoyed was Blue Ocean Strategy. And the thinking in that book is that when we have, when we're in a marketplace and we have a lot of direct competitors, people that are, fighting over the same customer base that we are, we're with little differentiation between them, it's very difficult to get a good traction. Okay. And so the waters become red, if you will. And the thinking in the book is to find a way to create more of a blue ocean strategy, which is where you've created differentiation, whether that's through, finding different customers, your service offering, your bundle of goods, if you will, that does not have as much or any, if possible, direct competitors. And so that question leads to, how do we get into that space? And in the book, they go over, very specific things that you can do, very specific tactics you can take in order to develop that blue ocean strategy for your company. One of the things that always comes to mind for me, however, is the idea that, my son is a boxer, he's an amateur boxer, and, he talks strategy about how he's going to beat his competition because, even if we're in that blue ocean state, there are going to be competitors. There may be indirect competitors. There may be direct competitors. And so what we talk about is how we're going to win, against those folks. How we're going to prevent, market entry, if you will. And one of the things that is really important for him, has to do with presence, showing up, the way that he's presenting himself, to his competitor. There's a bit of a mental game that happens there when you're before you're ringside, when you're, after that weigh-in. And so the way that he goes out, if he goes in there in a way that doesn't demonstrate his prowess, it gives the other boxer a little bit more confidence, and that could be there to their disadvantage, of course, but, there is that piece of that. I think that the other thing that he does is he observes them. So he watches the other boxers, he might watch some older videos, just to understand how that boxer works and how that boxer moves. And he's looking for, let's call them weak spots. He's looking for, hey, does the guy, drop his shoulder at a certain point, or does he or she have like a weak, left hook, or, whatever that's going to be. So he's watching to see where he can create opportunity for himself. And then the other thing that he does is he helps other people to understand, why he's a great boxer. And so in doing so, he's building his audience. He's building his credibility. He's getting people to say, hey, you know what? That guy is great, et cetera, et cetera. And so he's doing so. He's leveraging social media in his particular case to say, hey, you know what? These are the things that I do in order to be a great boxer. And so I think it's the same thing in business. When we show up in the marketplace, if we show up, whether it's our website or our communication or whatever that is, if we show up as a weaker brand, then we're not going to impress, our customers. We're not going to impress, our competitors, for that either. I think that having a good understanding of how our competitors work and being able to, find ways to augment what we do in order to be able to outperform them, and produce results, that may be different than them, that helps us to differentiate, as businesses. And then again, going into the idea of educating consumers, sometimes when we have things that are different and not subtly different, but things that are significantly different, we have to be able to help our customers understand how it's different and why that's important. If they don't understand those two things, then they don't value what we do, or they don't place the correct value on the work that we're going to be providing them. And then again, consistency is key. We've heard this over and over again with social media, with content production, with, just showing up to networking events and that sort of thing. The consistency with which we do the work that we do, or we present ourselves, or that we show up, is going to lead to familiarity. And familiarity means that when someone has a problem or a goal or whatever, they think of us. This is just my take on this. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching.